Senior Network. We were discussing earlier, Becky, the transition of moving maybe out of a home into a place like the Cypress, and the decisions that have to be made.
Well, one of the big decisions comes from downsizing.
Right.
You know, as we all age, our world gets a little smaller, although we hate to admit it. It is getting smaller, and so one of the big considerations when I meet with folks in my office, I ask as many questions as I possibly can about their lifestyle, their do's, the things they like to do, the things they don't like to do. I think you're talking about that. And I also ask them about their home, their current home. And I've been doing this so long that I find that a lot of folks will downsize about a third.
Okay.
Sometimes folks have to downsize as much as a half. So when you're talking to somebody who's coming from a 3,000 square foot home, and then they hit the realization hits like, oh, I have to I'm thinking about downsizing to 1,500 square feet. You go through a lot of emotional angst.
Sure.
And one of the things what my job is to really educate people that you're exchanging square footage for services. And what I mean by that is, do you need a gourmet kitchen any longer when the Cypress is offering you 30 meals a month? Do you need a big living room and a formal dining room when you can always use the private dining room at the Cypress or use our catering services? Do you need 3 full bathrooms when a 2-bedroom, 2-bath home is very accommodating, and we have guest suites on the campus for your family and friends when they visit? So lots of little things like that. And also too, all of our bathrooms and our bedrooms are always equipped with emergency response systems for folks if they need help at 24 hours. So there's a lot of, like I said before, a lot of emotional angst about downsizing, but if I can communicate the services over the square footage, it's a win-win situation for everyone, and everyone always does better. And they always come to me and they say, I wish I would have done this 5 years ago. Why didn't I do this? And it's just because we're just a slave to our stuff, and we're a slave to our surroundings. Yeah,
I'm sitting here thinking about, I think I use 3 rooms out of my whole house probably.
Yeah. Something similar for us as well.
Yeah, but I understand it's getting people that mentally just to get through that process.
Right, and when you all go and do your you're not occupational therapy, but go in and figure out what they need and what they don't need. I bet when you go into these large homes, it's like, we don't need all this space over here. This can just cause more, could be more problematic than.
Well, it really can in all that space, and it makes me think about technology. I know you were going to talk about that.
Right. So it's kind of a compliment, to what she was talking about here. So we have our GrandPad.
Sure.
And one of the things I'll go back to, something I mentioned in the previous segment, was we've embraced cognitive technology. We try to use this as a leverage point of saying, okay, what else can we do to ensure that our clients, continue to be interacting with not just, caregivers, but also with their loved ones. So this little thing here, the GrandPad, which I think we talked about before, gives them that opportunity, right? They can go in and do face-to-face conversations with folks over the screen. They can play games. They can look up news. Is anything to keep them occupied within their home. So to your point, when they're downsizing to a smaller facility, they still have this. They can help them, get accustomed or accommodate to their new surroundings. And we think this is a great tool. In fact, we have a couple of clients that went through a similar scenario. They went from large homes to smaller homes. It's maybe 2 or 3 rooms total in the home.
Right.
You have this in place. They can reach out to their friends. They can reach out to us. They can go and look at the news, play with games, crossword puzzles, and it just seems to take their time away. So don't think about, I've gone down to a smaller facility. I have this kind of offset some of that.
Well, how does that work though? I mean, is it obviously internet driven, and is it a camera? I mean,
so think of it almost like an iPad, right?
Okay.
In a sense, but the big difference is the technologies. On the iPad itself, the icons, the buttons are relatively small. It's a little clunky. There's a whole lot of things out there, a lot of apps that can get confusing, even for someone like myself. With the GrandPad, it's simplified. Number one, the icons are huge. So when they open it up, you can clearly see. There's a button for contacts. There's an app for puzzles. For games. There's an app for news. There's an app for comfort keepers.
Gotcha.
But clear
so
as day. But it's all embraced. And the cool thing about it is you don't have to have internet. You can have you can touch a tower.
Okay.
As long as there's a tower, which typically there are now, in most major locations, they can reach out to anyone. So this is a great thing for them. It keeps them in contact with someone as close as the island or as far as another state like the West Coast or the Northeast. So it's a really handy tool.
Neato.
Awesome. That is so neat.
It's neat.
Well, thank you folks for joining us. I'm sorry we're out of time. And thank you all for joining us here on the Senior Network, where senior care experts come together. See you next time.